Which players should make the Pro Bowl when it comes to the AFC? Kyle and I are giving you the correct Pro Bowl ballots today on the Locked On NFL Scouting podcast.
You are Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes, your daily podcast for NFL and college football scouting. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's better than this? It's guys being dudes here on the Locked On NFL Scouting podcast. We're the Draft Dudes. I'm Joe Marino from Locked On Bills. He's Kyle Crabbs from Locked On Dolphins. And we are your NFL experts here with you daily to talk team building across the league on the Locked On NFL Scouting podcast with the Draft Dudes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We'd like to thank you for making Locked On NFL Scouting your first listen every day, and a big welcome and shout out to our everydayers. You know who you are. Those of you who never miss a single episode, we appreciate y'all being here very, very much. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use code LockedOnNFL for a first deposit match up to $100.
Joe, it's time to make some people angry. And usually we save that for Fridays with Takes on Takes, where you send us your most controversial opinions and we tear them to shreds. And instead, we say, you know what? We're going to have a repeat of the old Bob Tunyon saga a couple years ago. Do you want to recall that for anybody? So I'm not just talking here for the first 3 minutes of the show. That whole saga with Bob Tunyon.
We have done this in the past where we deliver our Pro Bowl ballots, and we took some venom from somebody who was quite upset that we didn't have Big Bob Tunyon as our Pro Bowl tight end for the NFC. And they were pretty mad about it.
Put up big numbers that year in Green Bay.
He sure did. He had double-digit touchdowns, Kyle. He sure did. Sure did. But he didn't make our Pro Bowl ballot. And so, no, our goal is not to make anyone mad. We just want to give you our ballots. We want to tell you who we think are the correct choices. We're going with the very traditional rosters that the NFL typically uses. So we're going to have 44 Pro Bowlers on the AFC side of things today. And I don't know who Kyle has. He doesn't know who I have. So it'll be fun to see who our mutual picks are, where we were different. We're going to have some fun here on a Friday.
So, Joe, without further ado, let's get this thing popping. All right.
Yep.
There are 44 names that we have collected, respectively. We have no idea who's on each other's ballots. It's going to be fun. It's going to be wild. It's going to be messy. But we're going to start with quarterback.
Yep.
And you said before we dive in, you said there were two teams in the AFC that did not have a single representative on your Pro Bowl ballot. Is that correct?
Yep. There's two.
I just ran the numbers. I have one.
Ooh, okay.
One team without a Pro Bowl. So let's go. Quarterbacks, there's no shortage of options. There is, of course, the unfortunate swell of injuries that have hit some of the popular names. You think about Joe Burrow, you think about Justin Herbert as candidates for Pro Bowl candidacies, and their seasons are obviously over with season-ending injuries. I'm sure I'm forgetting a few more. C.J. Stroud currently injured and missing time in their playoff stretch where he would be a very strong candidate as well. I have two AFC East quarterbacks on my Pro Bowl ballot.
Let's just do there's three of them. Who are your three?
My three are Tua Tagovailoa, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson.
Ooh. All right. Here we go. I've got Josh Allen. I've got Tua Tagovailoa. And I got Patrick Mahomes. I went with Mahomes over Lamar Jackson. And that was a hard one. That was a hard choice for me.
So you had Tua, Josh Allen, and Mahomes?
I did.
I think the thing that I struggled with Mahomes was if it's to the standard of what we expect from Pat, he hasn't reached that. And that doesn't, that's just the nature of being as great as Patrick Mahomes is. And I understand that there's things there that aren't in his control. But I look at Lamar Jackson and he has making strides. He is playing in a different offense and putting up his best passing numbers since he won MVP last time. And Josh Allen is carrying Buffalo right now. I know they had a huge game with the running the ball this past week. And then obviously Tua, and he's leading in passing yards and getting a whole lot of chunk yards, and he stayed healthy this year to this point. I'm not going to wood real hard so everybody hears it. Those are my three. That's why.
Yeah, the controversial one is Mahomes versus Jackson, at least in terms of how we see it. I just went with the more productive player. I think Pat's been more productive. There's been problems with what's around him, and he's still producing at an extremely high level. So I gave him the nod over Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson was my first off, though.
Okay. Running back, I'll let you go first. We got three.
Three running backs. I got Raheem Mostert, who has, I think, 47,000 touchdowns this year.
That checks out. Yep.
Right. I may have missed one, but he had a lot. Is it 20? Yeah, how many he has?
20. He has 20 touchdowns. Yeah.
And he's got a lot of yards. So he leads the AFC in rushing, if I'm not mistaken.
No, James Cook does.
James Cook, who's my next one. James Cook, AFC leader in rushing. Imagine that. Third in the league in yards from scrimmage behind Tyreek Hill and Christian McCaffrey. What in the world? So I have James Cook, Raheem Mostert, and Travis Etienne. I think the dual threat ability there, the touchdowns for Travis Etienne gave him the nod over some of the other deserving candidates.
Okay, that's fun. We have two similar, and they are, once again, the two teams that we individually host shows in regards to. I have Raheem Mostert and James Cook. I put Derrick Henry as my third.
Ooh.
I just think the offensive line being as poor as it is, they still put so much of their offensive identity is on his plate. And I understand they've become a little bit more of a vertical passing game with Will Levison, but him going at the rate that he's going at this stage in his career, I still put Derrick Henry down.
As the yards per carry king, the guy under 4 yards per carry, making it. I know it's
offensive line's not good, but he's still shouldering a massive load.
I hear you.
Tennessee.
I hear you. He was my first off. So yeah,
first off. Okay, so can we agree our first on at wide receiver is Tyreek Hill?
Yeah, he was an easy one. Yeah, I put him down. Heard about him.
I have Jamar Chase, Michael Pittman, and Stephon Diggs are my other Pro Bowl wide receivers.
I have it differently than you. I got Tyreek Hill.
I'm sure you do.
I got Michael Pittman. I'm glad you picked him.
Okay.
I mean, there's not a whole lot going in that passing game, man, and he's carrying them. Tons of catches, tons of production. Who was your third one? Your next one?
Jamar Chase.
Okay, I've got Jamar Chase. And who was your other
one?
one?
And then I have Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs.
I don't have Stephon Diggs. I have Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen's having an unbelievable season. An unbelievable season. He's like over 1,200 yards. And that Mike Williams is injured. I know that Keenan Allen's injured right now, but 107 receptions for 1,245 yards. He leads the AFC in receptions by 8. And he's second in receiving yards, only behind that Tyreek Hill guy. I thought Keenan Allen, I thought the guys I picked, Hill, Allen, Chase, and Pittman were the most deserving. Stephon Diggs started hot, 500-yard games in the first 8, but I don't know what I've seen from him over the last 5 or so. I got him out of there, and I went with the other ones.
So how do you reconcile? Because obviously there's 3 games in the last 5 games that Stephon Diggs has played where he has less than 40 receiving yards. And one of the games that he was over 40, he had 48. Yeah. But still getting like 11 targets against Buffalo, getting 11 targets against Kansas City. So what's been the biggest disconnect there in your mind? With the targets and no production.
Yeah, that's a problem, right? Like, what's his catch percentage over his reception percentage on catchable targets over the last 5 games is below 50%. It's unacceptable to me. And I think there's a number of factors that go into it, but he's had his own share of drops. I think some of the routes that he's running, I think they need to get a little bit different with it. I think they get back into their play action stuff. But at the end of the day, I just think his production over the last 5-6 weeks just hasn't been there where I can't overlook what Keenan Allen's done. Obviously, Chase and Hill were obvious for me. And then I got a lot of respect for Michael Pittman with a backup quarterback and a new scheme with literally no other meaningful pass catchers. It's like this guy's out here balling. Pittman's got 99 catches for 1,062 yards. I think there's just been more consistency there. So I went with him. So anybody who's going to come at me and say that I'm a homer for my picks, I didn't have Stephon Diggs as a Pro Bowler. So get out of here with that criticism.
I expect we have these two the same. We have 2 tight ends. I feel very strongly there's 2 right answers here.
Okay.
It's Travis Kelce and David Njoku are my 2 tight ends.
I thought about Njoku, Kyle. I really did. I got Travis
you didn't do
Kelce.
it?
No, I went with the Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram over David Njoku for me.
Why?
More. I mean, he has 88 catches versus 61. I know that there's.
I know.
I just feel like Evan Ingram's been a little bit more of a thing all season long. Njoku obviously had
coming
that
on real
huge
hot
game.
though.
He is,
He's
but
coming
I
on
looked
real
at the
hot.
whole body of work. Whole body of work.
Well, and you know what? When the whole body of work is said and done, and Joe Flacco plays these last 3 games for Cleveland, I wouldn't be surprised if Njoku's resume is better at the end of the season.
I mean, he's got 200 yards and 3 touchdowns in his last 2 games.
Right?
I mean, that's
he's out here playing with. He's out here playing with PJ Walker and Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
I don't think it's a bad pick. I just didn't think it was as obvious as you. I went with Ingram.
Okay. We have a fullback. Who's your fullback? It's our
Patrick
last skill
Ricard.
player.
Patrick Ricard from the Ravens.
Not me. This is
Alec
my
Ingold?
pick, baby. Alec Ingold. It's like this. The AFC's Kyle Juszczyk. They don't use him in the same degree. He doesn't get the same burn as far as touching the football, but he lines up everywhere. And I know Ricard's an awesome weapon, and Baltimore makes great use of him. But I think a little love to Alec Ingold.
All right.
Got a good spotlight on Hard Knocks this week, too, by the way, Joe.
Did he? Have to
I
check
know
that
you
out.
saw it. Yeah.
All right. We're going to get to the trenches here in just a second. The skill players are out of the way. This has been really fun. You know, it's also fun ordering food from DoorDash. The convenience of DoorDash is simply unmatched. We're all busy people, right? We got a lot going on. Not sure when we can get to the grocery store. Not sure when we can make dinner. Well, DoorDash can handle that for you. They'll bring you groceries right to your front door. They'll bring you food from your favorite local restaurant right to your front door. I love getting El Vallarta. It's my favorite Mexican restaurant here in town. And the tacos, the salsa, they have hot salsa that's really good. My daughter loves the macaroni and cheese. So I love that I can get food from all of my favorite local restaurants delivered right to my front door. Also stuff from the gas station. Maybe you eat a bag of chips and a soda. They'll bring that to you as well. They give you time. I love that about DoorDash. So check them out. Get 50% off up to a $10 value when you spend $15 or more on your first order when you download the DoorDash app and enter code LOCK23. Subject to change. Terms apply. Again, that's 50% off up to a $10 value when you spend $15 or more on your first order when you download the DoorDash app and enter code LOCK23. Subject to change. Terms apply.
Time for the trenches.
Yep.
We'll start with offensive tackle.
I'll go
Floor's
first.
yours.
There's 3 of them.
I'm gonna let
All
you.
right.
I'm gonna let
3 offensive tackles. Garrett Bowles, Denver Broncos. Rashawn Slater, Los Angeles Chargers. Deion Dawkins, Buffalo Bills. I felt pretty good about these being the right 3.
I got two of the same 3.
Okay.
I got Garrett Bowles. I got
Okay.
Rashawn Slater. My third was Colton Miller for the Raiders.
Okay.
There's not a lot of strong performers for the Raiders in general this season. I think Colton Miller's been one of them. So, you know, in a unit where that offensive line has really struggled, but they've shown some flashes. He's been the constant. I think he's well deserving. Obviously, Deion Dawkins, this one of the staples of that Bills offensive line, and you know as well as I do, I was a huge Deion Dawkins fan coming out, so I'm happy to see him continue to thrive. Really, but I did put Colton Miller in over Deion Dawkins when it was all said and done.
Miller was on my short list, and I think that's a good shout out, especially when you have an unstable operation and you're a stable piece of it. I think that's big. I went with Dawkins. The Bills are running their run game through Deion Dawkins, where they run dart like all the time, and he comes backside to play side and pulls over and over and over again. He's only given up 1 sack this year. He's the only tackle in the AFC that's given up 1 or fewer sacks. So I had to give it to him, but I think Colton Miller's a good shout out.
Okay. Into your offensive line, this one was, I think, a little less difficult for me to narrow down, or I should say center or guard. Joe Thuney, Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep.
Wyatt Teller, Cleveland Browns. I had Kevin Zeitler from the Baltimore Ravens as my third.
Ooh, I like that you had Zeitler. I had Zeitler as well. I think that's a good call out, man. He's been so stable for them. They've had some injuries, right, on that offensive line.
Yeah.
think he's been stabilizing on a good offense. You said Joe Thuney?
Joe Thuney and Wyatt Teller.
Okay, so I have Joe Thuney as well. Where we're going to be different is I do not have Wyatt Teller. I went with Quinn Miners of the Denver Broncos. Yeah. And a big reason why, and this is, I didn't really talk about it with Garrett Bowles. We both were a consensus pick there. I feel like Russ puts so much stress on that offensive line with how he holds the ball and how he plays. And I know that their rushing touchdowns haven't really been there, but I think there's been some good moments in that run game. And I think Quinn Miners and how he's been able to, be very good. That stood out to me. So I gave it to him over Wyatt Teller.
Center at Creed Humphrey and Ryan Kelly.
I had Creed Humphrey, and I went with Lloyd Cushenberry as my other center over Ryan Kelly. Ryan Kelly was my third. Yeah, man, I feel like it's the hardest job in the world. It's the hardest job in the world, probably blocking for Russell Wilson. So I gave it to him over Ryan Kelly was my first off and my honorable mentions.
I will say if Connor Williams didn't have a season-ending injury against Tennessee,
100%.
My second center. So we'll move to defensive side of the ball. Do you want to get edge and IDL in this section, and then we'll save outside linebackers for the back seven conversation, or do you want to try and squeeze all these guys in here? Because really, it's just pick your poison with all these pass rushers.
The problem with my defensive end outside linebacker is it's just edge players. Like let's go IDL.
Same way.
Can we just do defensive ends and outside linebackers together? There's 6 of them.
Okay, so let's do IDL first.
Okay, IDL.
Go ahead. I did the last two.
All right. There's some quality guys that I had to leave off here. But who's on? I have Justin Matabweek from the Ravens. Unbelievable season, right? I mean, does he have like at least a half a sack in a million games in a row? I have Chris Jones from the Kansas City Chiefs, and I have Quinnen Williams from the New York Jets.
Okay. So you had Quinnen Williams, Justin Matabweek. Sorry, I'm writing in your ballot as I go. And you had Chris Jones.
Justin Matabweek. That's right. Yep.
Okay. So I had Chris Jones from the Kansas City Chiefs. I had Justin Matabweek from the Baltimore Ravens. And I put big old Christian Wilkins' rear end on here. 8 sacks this season. He's been outstanding. He started slow. I put him in over Quinnen Williams just because the big argument for Quinnen last year was the production, and Quinnen's been awesome. But Christian's the one who has the production this year out of that group. So I put Christian Wilkins on.
Quinnen, my case for Quinnen, I knew that this was going to be, I knew this was going to be the case here. My case for Quinnen over Christian Wilkins is that Quinnen Williams is, how many times does he actually just get to play with a lead and go get the quarterback?
It's a valid point.
Never. So that's what I leaned into. But deserving, I mean, there's plenty of other good players that we couldn't pick, but it was only 3 spots. So there you go.
Ideally, you'd have 6 spots for this, just like you have 6 spots for the edge guys.
Yes.
Because you could do Quinnen Williams, you could do Jeffrey Simmons.
Yeah.
You could do
DJ Reader. I think Ed Oliver's having one heck of a season.
Do we know what the update is for Reader and his injury?
Not good. I'm pretty sure he's out for the year.
Dang, that sucks.
Yeah, problem. DeForest Buckner's having a great season. There's tons of good players.
Let's do the edge guys. We got 6 names.
Yeah.
We'll smash them all in here. And if there's any discourse, we could take it after the break.
All right.
Myles Garrett. Confirm with me as we go here.
Yes, I have Myles Garrett. Yes, 100%.
Okay. Max Crosby.
100%.
TJ Watt.
100%.
Khalil Mack.
100%.
Josh Allen Jaguars.
No, I don't have him.
Okay.
My first off.
Bradley Chubb from Miami was my other one.
I have Bradley Chubb as well. So the one that we're different on.
Not bad.
Yeah, I have Trey Hendrickson over Josh Allen. And I sweated this one out. But look at the production. Hendrickson every week has numbers. Josh Allen has like a couple of like 3-sack, 2-sack. Like it comes in bunches. I thought the consistency was much better when it comes to Trey Hendrickson. That's why I went with him.
So we have not had a group yet, Joe, where we have been consensus.
Good. That makes it fun, right? If we're sitting here just repeat and repeat, nobody wants to hear that.
Right. All right, we'll do the back seven and specialists next.
Stick around. The long snapper vote is coming up and the punter. So don't miss that. Stick with us. But folks, you got to check out Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the funnest, most exciting, easiest way to play daily fantasy sport. I love the format. It's just you against the numbers. It's not you against thousands of other players, including pros and sharks. It's just you against numbers. Here's what you do. You select 2 or more players. You pick more or less in their projected stats, and you place your entry. That's it. It doesn't take long. Picks can be made in under a minute. And then when you win, the withdrawals are super, super quick. It's going to be a great weekend to get in on Prize Picks because you've got football games, you got NBA games, you got NHL games, and you can cross-pollinate between all of that to make the entry that you absolutely love. So go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use code LockedOnNFL for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, that's prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use code LockedOnNFL for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
Inside linebackers. I have a feeling we're not going to be the same here either.
Really? This was kind of easy for me to settle on. I'll give you mine. Okay, I have Roquan Smith.
Yep.
And I have Quincy Williams from the Jets.
I had the other linebacker from the Jets on.
Mosley?
CJ Mosley. Yeah.
Dude, you could convince me either way. I just feel like when I watch the Jets, which feels like way too much, Williams is making more plays than Mosley. And I could be wrong about that.
He flies around. No, he's
really
flies around. He's a really fun player, super rangy. Mosley, as far as being the quarterback of that defense, though, was kind of what gave me the push to him for as productive as he's also been.
Both deserving.
All right. Well, we got a Jets linebacker in. We got some love for the Jets, Joe. You got Quinnen Williams. You got CJ Mosley.
I have more Jets than Bills, so
I have a Jet coming in our next group. We're talking corners. I got Sauce Gardner on mine. I got Pat Surtain the second on. I put Trent McDuffie on for his work for Kansas City. And then I got Jalen Ramsey on because of what he has changed about this Dolphins defense since he's shown up. It's been tremendous effort from Jalen Ramsey. So those are my 4.
I got none of the same. Not a single one.
Really?
Not a single one is the same.
All right, let's do it.
All right. For me, I have Darius Williams from the Jacksonville Jaguars. The ball production has been there all season long. He's not giving up anything in coverage. I have L'Jarius Sneed from the Kansas City Chiefs. This guy travels and faces the other team's number one corner or number one receiver every week, and he locks him up. I think he's unbelievable.
Yep.
I've got DJ Reed from the Jets, who's been the better Jets corner this year. You just got to throw away the Dolphins games. If he doesn't play against the Dolphins, his numbers are unbelievable.
That's part of my problem. That's part of my problem.
I get it.
Watch
I get it.
Just tear him apart.
He's been so much better against any other team. They put him in some tough spots there, trying to go one-on-one with these guys that nobody can run with. And my last one is Martin Emerson from the Cleveland Browns. Dude, I watch this Browns team. This guy pops for me every single time. I love the competitive nature. I think he's got 4 picks. Maybe that's tied for the most amongst AFC corners. And I don't know. I think that Browns defense just they warranted more than just Myles Garrett to be on my Pro Bowl ballot. So I wanted to make space for him.
Okay, that's fair.
That's crazy, right? 8 different corners represented here.
Right.
And
I think it'll live up to dude, McDuffie's got 5 forced fumbles this year.
It's a good player.
I can't say enough about just the variety of ways in which he makes plays too. He's got 3 or 4 sacks as well.
Yeah, he's good.
So he doesn't miss tackles, plays in the nickel. It's such a hard job.
I thought about Brandon Stevens. I thought about Kenny Moore. I thought about Rasul Douglas. I thought about all 4 of the guys you put down. There's a lot of names, man. So people will be mad that we didn't pick their player, but whatever.
All right, now you got a free safety.
I'm just going to give you
we
my
have 3
safety
and 2 strong safeties.
I'm picking 3 safeties. These are my safeties. I have Jabril Peppers from the Patriots. I have Kyle Hamilton from the Ravens, and I have Geno Stone from the Ravens.
What if I told you we finally found our group that we have exactly
Really?
the same? Yes.
Did you have I didn't want to put Geno Stone in there, but he has 6 picks. He leads the league.
Right. The work that he has done in replacing Marcus Williams with the time that Marcus Williams missed is impossible to ignore.
Right.
He's
and the guy that I debated was Holland. Holland's only played 9 games. So
right. That's a hard sell. And I don't know that he's going to go this week either. So at some point you gotta have the volume. And credit to Jabril Peppers too, man. What a fun story he's been as far as the emergent career recovery player that just went to New England and really clicked with what they're doing.
He was I did my Bills mock off season. He was the guy that I wanted them. I didn't have the Bills re-signing Poyer. I had them signing Peppers to replace him.
Yeah.
And here we are.
No, well, can't win them all.
Yeah. All right.
I have a New York Jet kicker.
You do?
Greg Zuerlein's my kicker. Yes,
I
do.
Not my kicker.
No player
is
more, no player in the NFL is more valuable to putting points on the board for his team than Greg Zuerlein.
He's missed one all year.
I think he's only. Well, it's just the volume of points that they've scored that have come from Greg is the joke here.
Yeah,
but
I think
he's only kicked 11 extra points on the season.
10 of 11 on extra points. Yeah. My guy has 3 times the amount of extra points made. His name is Harrison Butker. 34-34 on extra points, 25 of 26 on field goals. His only miss. Wait, did I pick Harrison Butker? Yes, I did. Okay, thank God. I'm sitting there going on this rant better be Harrison Butker. Yeah, I think he just missed for the first time last week or something like that. So going Butker.
Now I'll let you have your moment here with punter.
Yeah, the correct choice here is AJ Cole. By far leads the NFL in EPA per punt, and I think he's the right choice.
What would you say if I also told you I had AJ Cole?
I would say that you made the right choice.
At long snapper.
Yep.
I'm going to be honest. I just went with the guy that got it last year.
Who was it? I have no idea who this was.
Was it not your long snapper last year?
I don't think so. I don't think it was Reed Ferguson. If that's who you picked, I don't think he was.
I don't think he was. I need to do the research and just say I'm de facto going with who got it last year. So
okay, I picked James Winchester from the Chiefs because I think the Chiefs have the best combination of kicker and punter in the NFL, and Tommy Townsend and Harrison Butker. And I think the long snapper deserves credit for that, for his consistency in putting them. I think that operation matters, and that's my entire process.
You just sold me on it. James Winchester's a slam dunk choice at long snapper. There you go. I have Brendan Schooler as my special teams player. New England Patriots.
Is he the one that blocked that punt against Miami or a field goal?
Yes, he is.
That guy.
But he's all over the place on their kick coverage teams. He's all over. the place.
My special teamer is Ashton Davis from the New York Jets. I think he leads the AFC in special teams tackles. And he's second in snaps, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't know. I feel like I've watched the Jets a lot, and he makes an impact on special teams, so I picked him.
The punt return, kick return player, I do feel strongly there's a proper answer, and it's Devin Duvernay of the Baltimore Ravens.
Me too.
There you go.
My favorite thing about Devin Duvernay, he's the only punt returner in the AFC with more than 10 fielded punts that does not have a muff. Oh, by the way,
really,
he's averaging 12.6 yards per punt return, and he does his thing as a kick returner as well. I think he's the right choice.
That's fun.
Yeah.
So your top teams represented on your Pro Bowl ballot are?
I have 8 Chiefs, 7 Ravens, 4 Dolphins, 4 Jets. Those are my top 4 teams.
Okay. I have 7 Ravens, 7 Dolphins, 5 Chiefs, and then I have like the Bills, Colts, Jets with 3. Raiders with 3.
Yeah, I think it helps. Like the Chiefs had my kicker and my long snapper, right? You
Yeah,
kind of get
the
those.
specialist really skewed it.
Right.
I also had the Browns with 3.
I have the Browns with 3 as well.
Teller and Njoku and Myles Garrett. You had Garrett, Martin Emerson. Who was your 4th or 3rd?
For the Browns?
Yeah. Did you lie?
No, I didn't lie. I got to find it. Garrett, Emerson.
Yep.
Did I lie?
You
hate
lied.
to see that.
Joe Marino
man,
hates the Browns.
No, I only have 2. I don't even know I said it. In my column, I literally see here it says Browns 2. I have 2 Browns.
I don't know why you said that then.
I don't know why I did either. The Broncos, because I have it alphabetical, the Broncos have 3, but
I have 2 for the Broncos. So some good representation. Teams that did not get representation for you included
Titans and Texans.
Texans were my only team without a Pro Bowl. So,
and courtesy of Derrick Henry, you have 1 for the Titans, right?
That's right. I got 1 on. We shall see. Fan voting ends this weekend, so we also have to do the NFC version of this, Joe, which we will do and deliver. So we're looking forward to that. But that is going to do it for us on this episode of Locked on NFL Scouting. I'm Kyle Crabbs. He is Joe Marino. Appreciate you guys checking out the show. Make it a great rest of your day. We're out of here.